Hey guys, right, so we're in our scruffs and stuff for today because we're going to be working over here on, I hope you can see it, on the corner where the TV used to be. Recently we had a problem. The old CRT TV broke. It's a fault with the tube. I'm not sure it can be repaired, but we're going to try with a friend who knows a little bit about electrics. And we've had to replace it with a flat screen, which does mean I can't play my fantastic light gun games that I love so much, but we will get around that at some point. What we're doing now though is the TV needs to be put on the wall because it's a flat screen and it means we got more space to put in more consoles. So the gaming station can move not just in the office but also down here. So we're going to put it on the wall, but we're going to use a bracket that can angle around so that it doesn't have to be flat to the wall. We can angle it out like we had the TV before. It's a lot of work, but we're going to do it. So let's get on with it.
That's pretty solid, actually.
And there we are, it's on the wall, and I don't know. I think it's as good as we're going to get it, and it's secure. It looks very industrial, but we'll get used to it.
I think that the actual brackets need to be the other way up, so it's high rather than low, is my feeling.
And there we have it. It's on the wall now, so yeah, it looks pretty good. Third time lucky, I suppose, is the way to go. I could do a modern world rant now. Traditional TVs sit on a stand, and it was good enough for years. It was good enough for decades. But I'm not going to do that. It's on the wall now. It's all done. It's all dusted. It means that we've got plenty of space on the top of the cabinet for anything else that we need. So it's all going to work out well. It shouldn't take an hour to put it together, but at least it's done now. Anyway, I've got to get back to work. I just had to come down to town because, quite frankly, I was getting a bit stir crazy in the house. Been there for day upon day, most of the time, and trying to get work done. I just need to get out of the house. Got what I needed to do this morning done. It was stressful because things weren't working properly and had to keep redoing things, but it's done. So that's good. But I've got stuff to do now in town this afternoon, so we come out, and the rest of the stuff that I need to do at home I can do this evening. So we're on schedule. It's just been stressful this morning, but we're on schedule. Right, Jen, what do you think that is then? That's it's quite interesting, isn't it? It's like a very old one to paint directly onto the render.
It's the like the facade for a shop. It's probably, I reckon, 70s, 80s. It might even have been from when they were built in whenever this street on this side was built. Newport Arcade, it's called. I don't know what shop that was. I don't recognise it. It's only exposed because they've taken off the facade.
Yeah. I'm thinking it's some kind of costume shop or balloon shop, like a party thing from some time, I don't know when.
I don't know.
No. I think it might be, you know, because it kind of has that look.
See if we can spot it in old photographs of this road.
I've taken a few photos. I'm going to talk to the I Love Bolton group and the history people and see. Maybe someone will remember what it was. And if they do, I'll tell you on the vlog. Well guys, I've just been down in Town Hall for a few hours now actually. We had a very long and interesting meeting, and that was very good. So thankfully now I get to go home though because I'm exhausted. 2 hours sleep is not good enough for everyone, so let's go home. Well guys, there is one more thing that I want to talk about today now that I'm back home from the meeting, and that's the fact that over the weekend I ended up, hang on, I'll zoom in, yeah. Over the weekend I ended up talking a lot to my parents about fixing a computer, and I repaired one of theirs. It was a pretty simple repair, but they were surprised how quick and simple it was, and it caused me to realise that sometimes all you need in order to be good at repairing things is to have broken a lot of them. I started a long time ago working on computers. My first computer was an Amstrad CPC 464, and it was fantastic. It broke. I believe it was just a routine accident, you know, a bit of orange juice got knocked onto it, it broke. We got another one. It was another Amstrad CPC 464. Had that for a long, long time. I ended up being my sister's because I bought my own CPC, and it was a fantastic computer. I used that all the time. It was my go-to computer for my first business when I put together my first magazine. It was my first computer when I started my play-by-mail gaming business. I wrote my own software to run the business on it. It was something that I practiced computing on all the time, wrote programs, fiddled with software and all sorts. Made an awful lot of errors, but learned from what I was doing and worked out how to do things better. That's the key. That's what I want to talk about today. I learned from my mistakes because I made a lot of them. Now, everyone these days has this issue of, oh, I don't want to do X, Y, and Z because I might break it. I don't know how to repair it. And it might be an expensive thing if I break it. Never worry when it comes to computers. As long as you do one thing, keep backups of all your important stuff and make sure that if you do something, you can get it back to where it was. Maybe you've accidentally removed all of your files, like you're working on a new account for your business, or you wrote a letter to a friend, or you've lost your favourite game. As long as you can put it back, who cares? So you made a mistake. Well, now it's restored. You should have an ability to do that. As long as you know that you can get back to where you were if you make a mistake, what's the problem with making a mistake? Too many people are afraid of having to do a repair. Don't be afraid. Take, for example, my Mega PC. This was the first PC I ever had. It was wonderful. I loved it so much. Accidentally formatted the hard drive. Well, I didn't know what I was doing. I was following the tutorials. I got it wrong. I was supposed to be formatting a floppy disk. I formatted the hard drive instead. These things happen. Well, unfortunately, the DOS disks that I needed to restore the hard drive, they were corrupted, but a quick phone call to Amstrad, I had more disks on the way in a couple of days. It was fine, but I did do it, and I knew how to restore it. That's the key. Learn first. I mean, Google is fantastic, and you can get a guide to everything. If you want to try something and you're not sure how to repair, Google the repair first and keep a copy of it. Make a note. Later on, I decided that I would try partitioning my hard drives. I didn't know what I was doing with it, but I wanted to have my operating system in here and my games and stuff over here, and then this extra bit for my dad's stuff, because he was playing Football Manager, he was writing a book, I was writing a book too, so mine was on there, but I wanted him to have a separate space so that at no point would I use too much of the computer and then he couldn't do what he needed to. So I set the partitions. Didn't work out all that well because a few things didn't work if they were on a different partition. I didn't know that at the time. I went out to play with my friends because I was 12 at the time. I went out and played with my friends. Dad came to try and play his football management game. It didn't work because it couldn't access the fact that instead of being on C, it was now on D. Easy fix, but I hadn't realised what was going on, so I came home, fixed it, went back out. Not a problem, but only because I'd been working and finding out what to do, and I'd learned. So remember that. Things become easier when you learn what you're doing by experimenting. But if I'd been afraid to try, I would never have known. Which means that if that problem had happened at another point and I hadn't been trying things out, how would I have restored it? How would I have solved that problem? I didn't have the internet back then. It was 1992, coming on 1993. What do you do? See, you've always got to learn these things, and you've got to not be afraid of failing. Sometimes when you try things, it won't work. Don't be afraid of that. As long as you've got backups and you know that you can go and restore from those backups, then what's the problem? And that's the moral of today's story. Learn through failure. Don't be afraid to fail, and then you can succeed. Anyway, I hope that's useful for someone. I'm really tired. I've had 2 hours sleep last night. I'm off to bed for an early night. I'll see you tomorrow.